Well, hello everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed this film, Break Glass. I am here with Jay Leonard, writer, director extraordinaire. Um, he's actually an alumni here at the Catskill International Film Festival. He submitted Middletown, which was an award-winning project, and it is a pleasure to have you today.
Oh man, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
So, tell us a little bit about Break Glass and how you got started with this whole process.
With this particular movie, yeah, we were coming in on the heels of Middletown, which was the last time that we were in the festival in Catskill. And I started writing this movie, and then we were one of those pandemic babies. We had nothing to do. We got into pre-production, and we had nothing but time to just figure out how we were going to make it. And that's what we did. We spent our quarantine wisely in virtual pre-pro, figuring out everything, and we made this little $1,800 road movie.
Wow!
Everything opened back up. Yeah.
So this film in particular, this was $1,800.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, this is an example of how you can stretch a budget and make magic happen with limited resources. Wow.
Yeah. Illusion.
Yeah. It's it's not about the money that goes into the project. It's about, a lot of, I'm sure you had to do a lot of planning in order to execute this film and the quality in which it looks. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for saying that. Yeah, man, it's all planning. It's just like anything else. Like we try to treat every one of these projects like, like the big guys do. It's like a real job. We make the strip boards and the shooting schedules and the shot lists, and we stay very regimented and try to treat it like, it's a real production because it is a real production, and that's the only way I think you can do it.
How long was the process? Like on
the shooting?
Yeah, how long was the shooting process?
15 days.
Oh wow. Yeah, so shooting a feature in 15 days, $1,800.
Yes, correct.
One of the things
on the road.
One of the things that stuck out to me is for those that have seen Middletown, you utilize some of the cast from Middletown, and I thought it was brilliant because one thing you did when you had this film casted is you used same actors, but you put them in entirely unexpected roles. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about how that went as far as, I know these guys are professionals, but like your leading man, he's new to this production.
Ricky DeRosa, yeah.
You had a few different new people added to your cast, but I did see some familiar faces.
You did, yeah. You saw Jesse Lawrence and Jeff Riano and Susanna Bourne and Sean Barnes. Yeah, you saw those are the people that were in Middletown. I just love them all so much. I mean, they're great friends, and I think that they're just like incredibly talented artists, and I just like to be around them, and they're really inspiring. So when I was writing, I had an idea of everybody except Ricky. Ricky was a friend of Sean's, is a friend of Sean's. They're very close. And I've known Ricky for a while as well, and I just wasn't thinking about him. And then I saw him. We talked about it, and he sent in a reading, and it was so ridiculously good. I'm like, okay, now we have a movie. But yeah, it was great. It was just like working with those collaborators and stuff. And this is Susanna's first producerial effort with us in general, really. So I was just happy to have her on board and have her come in and produce with Sean, and she double duty, producer and actor, and she's great too. She's great.
Awesome with these independent productions where people are wearing multiple hats. I love to see it. I know it's a challenge, but at the same time, I mean, you guys came up with a great product. Susanna did a wonderful job in this project as well as she did in Middletown. It was a very moving performance. Your leading guy, awesome job. I was talking to you a little bit at the after party about your leading man. I wasn't expecting, it's such a casual feel to this movie and such a natural feel that it gives off in this performance. And like throughout it, I wasn't expecting to be hit so emotional with a movie that was coming across funny throughout. I was like really enjoying that. And in the writing process of this movie, what did you go through in that? Like, how did you pull these characters together?
That's a good question. See, and that's why it's hard to be interviewed by a guy who makes films, because he asks questions that I don't know how to
I'm
answer.
trying to pick your brain a little bit, because there's such a whenever you think of a comedy, there's always that really deep stuff mixed in there, and you're like, man, this guy must be really fucking sad.
Yeah,
Like,
I know, man. I know that, and that's the shit that happens to me. We play this movie. Everybody's like, "Oh, I didn't know that you're a big pansy," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. It's me." I don't know. I just think like, yeah, I don't think I have like a straight comedy kind of Jim Carrey movie in me. I don't know. I just think that the stuff that I'm drawn to, and I've always been drawn to, watching and stuff, has always been, these kind of realistic relationship examinations, and there's comedy in it and there's drama in it, and I think that that's what fascinates me, just real life and real relationships and stuff.
Yeah. I find it to be more relatable too. Like, we always laugh at our downfalls when we're telling a story. No one wants to hear how the story turned out, like the good stuff. They want to hear like the drama,
Yeah.
the drama and all. So,
Misery loves company, man. Yeah.
the chemistry on set though I can't imagine it not being a blast. I feel like because you guys worked together in the past, you guys have this like really deep friendship or family dynamic. So I can imagine it not being like as dramatic as it feels like when you're watching the film.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would agree. We're very close, and we've gotten closer since we shot the movie, since we got into pre-production and stuff. Like, we hang out and we hang out all the time. There were times in that movie, like, I really tried to give everybody their space to operate like on set. It's my natural instinct to like break a tense moment with a joke, or kind of clown around a little bit. So I had to not do that as much in this, especially the heavy stuff. But there were times when we were shooting this thing. Sean just said this the last time. I don't remember the last time we watched this together, but he was saying that there were times on set where you would forget a little bit that the chemistry, like the moment wasn't real, right? Like in the film, there's like a montage where Susanna's character and Ricky's character are sort of getting closer and warming up, and there's a couple of like little stolen looks and stuff, and it's those moments where you go like, oh wow, that felt so real and so good. And that's like, as an editor, you look at it and you go, oh shit, now we got a movie, this is great. Yeah, that made sense.
And that's that when you're saying that too, because like for those of you out there that don't know, Jay also edited this film. That in itself, I give you kudos to, because being able to direct something, write something, and then edit it, it's kind of like, I want to say forbidden, because nobody's kind of checking you. But in that moment, when you're doing that, like, how do you choose what stays and what goes? Like, it's your baby, it's your story. So like in that moment, is there a different movie on the cutting room floor of break glass that we're not seeing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right. So over the winter, well, I basically cut this. All right. So, I'm sorry. So I cut while we shoot. So when we finished the movie, we had a cut. Like the night that we wrapped, I basically went in and I hacked together the last like bit of footage that we had shot, and we had a cut, and it was long, and it's rough. It doesn't make any sense. The sounds, what it's like. And I like knew that I had like 6 months of work in front of me just to cut this down. I remember one night laying in bed in Middletown, the last movie came out, it was on Tubi, and I'm like, oh, I haven't seen this in a minute. And I put it on. And in the first 5 minutes, I'm like, oh my God, dude, you should have cut, this movie should be 10 minutes shorter. What's the matter? And I just didn't want to have that happen again. So I was really diligent about getting people in here into, my office basically, and watching these cuts. Like I showed a really early cut. I think we wrapped in October. I think November I showed a cut to Sean, producer Sean Barnes, and then to Justin Wambach, our DP, and to Susanna, and to Jeff. And I kept showing these cuts and I got maybe, I don't know, 15 cuts in or something like that. People from outside that weren't connected to the project, you know, friends and like we were talking before, like people who are also direct. My good friend David Weaver is a director as well, and I brought him in this. And I'm just taking notes, and you know, you have great days where you feel like you're there, and then you have terrible days where you know you feel like you wasted everybody's time. But that's how I did it this time. I really had to kind of get some perspective from other people because, to your point, yeah, I mean, nobody wanted to see a 2 hour and 40-minute version of this movie, but it's out there. It's
you never, you know what, you know, you
right
never
here,
know.
Actually,
you never know. What I'm seeing now with a lot of films, even in Hollywood or in a lot of independent films that were submitted, people don't follow directions. Is people are overindulging more than ever before. They're like, you know, like you're seeing the advertisements on a lot of projects now. They're like the longest one in the series. Like, when did that ever?
Like, that's become a good thing.
Like, yeah, when did that ever? Because it's like people just they want to see more of the characters, but we want to see the characters in better scenarios.
Yeah,
you know, not.
I want to see a cogent movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hang on one second. Somebody's calling me nonstop.
Okay.
Hang on one second.
Sure thing.
I will be back.
All right. I'll be here. I'm going to hang out. This is somebody calling, asking asking me just to stop talking. That's what it is. Why are you listening to this guy? It's terrible. He has no idea what he's talking about. It's me calling him, just to be clear.
Apologies. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries, man.
I had locked someone out. They were like calling me and just, what? But yeah, like going on a lot of people overindulge, so it's really a challenging thing that people have to do to cut down their films. But I'm seeing a lot of people not doing it, and I'm like, well,
yeah. But I think that's like, I mean, it's supposed to hurt. You're supposed. That's why they call it like killing puppies, right? Or killing your babies. It's like you have to get rid of this stuff, and it sucks to do it, but ultimately it serves the film. It's not easy to do. Sometimes you hurt people's feelings. Sometimes you know you hurt your own feelings. But if it's all in the name, right? Of like having a cogent movie that moves and flows, and that's
pacing. You got to understand too, you know, out there, for the people out there, as a filmmaker, you are asking an audience to sit there through your project and, you know, hopefully enjoy it.
Right.
But you got to be respectable to know that you're taking their time, you know. So,
and you're trying to keep them from dicking around on their phone or watching a movie with their laptop up or whatever.
I'll tell you, you know, there's no experience like seeing, you know, going to an audience or even online, having your film shown. And, you know, I found myself opening night when my film was showing, like I was looking around, like how many people are on their phones here?
Yeah.
You know, there's just people that don't give a shit and they're there for, you know, the pictures and stuff, but you still feel it. Like you don't want them to, and then you understand it, you know, but with that said, other than the editing aspect, what else did you find in this project that you had to overcome as a filmmaker that was a real challenge?
I mean, the biggest challenge making movies like we do, which again is basically for no money. This is $1,800. Middletown was $961. That, I mean, every project we've made, this is the most expensive thing we've ever done, which is funny. And the pitfall with that and the obstacle really is, it's not so much the money, it's the time. Because I can't pay people what they're worth, or at all, really, to be honest. And I can't, so that means I can't buy their time. I can't say like, hey, listen, I know you got to work today. I'm going to pay your day rate so that you don't have to go to work so we can shoot and get what we need, you know? So you're always hustling. You're always moving stuff around. You know, long days. But it is what it is. It's like, you know, just as well as I do, just as well as, you know, most people watching this probably do, or filmmakers. Like, it's the hardest thing, but it's what we live to do, right? Like,
absolutely. I find it, the idea that you had to put all this in, would you say it was 15 days, a 15-day shoot? 15
days, yeah.
How did you find locations and whatnot for that? Did you just know people that know somebody? Like, what was that like?
No. We just ask, like we just ask questions. I think the last movie getting a little bit of recognition and getting some festivals and stuff to help open the doors a little bit more for this one. People go when you ask a location owner or you ask a city, like, hey, listen, we want to take over your little town for a couple days and shoot, on the streets and shoot at these businesses and stuff. And you point them to your last movie and they see, a few festival laurels up there and stuff like that. And a pull quote from somebody, they go, oh, wow, this isn't just like, Jay's not borrowing his uncle's camera and they're not, like this is cool. So I think that was it. But yeah, we just asked questions, man. And everybody was super nice to us. Everybody's super happy to help, going out of their way, literally unlocking doors and walking out and saying like, here you go, it's yours. Just lock up when you're done. People that we don't know, but
that's like a filmmaker's dream to have, like
100%.
People open-minded about independent productions and just allowing it. Because a lot of times they don't realize, like, I hear a lot about it in festivals and, just speaking to filmmakers, and there's a lot of talk of guerrilla style filmmaking, which is fun, but it also, like, there's an anxiety level for everybody there when you're not supposed to be. Like, the actors are like, okay, am I going to have to run away? I have to it's so much better when you have those permits or those, you can be here.
Yeah.
And,
all the difference in the world. And I'm super, what do you call it? Like that hits me extra hard. We've done, obviously everybody's done stuff like that, but we've done that and I hate it. Like I will literally put my hood up because I need to like focus on exactly what's going on a monitor because I'm so impacted by everything going on around me. And I'm always waiting for like the car to pull up or the cops to show, or somebody to start walking towards us. And I can't concentrate. I can't imagine what it's like for people in the front of the camera,
It's a reality. And I want to tell you, there's a big percentage of filmmakers this year that we've heard about the guerrilla style. And I've done it myself. And
I respect it.
I do too, but it's putting actors in certain predicaments at times. It's like, it's not for everybody.
Not for everybody, for sure.
But, yeah, that's awesome. You have a team with you, a respected team. You've been there with them for years. But I'm sure at this point, the producers behind your film, they have some say in what goes on. How do you guys balance creative differences? You just got to fight it out.
Yeah, I pretty much just whine and cry and sulk until I get my way, generally. No, I don't know. I don't think we really had many differences. I think the only thing that really like we I don't know, butt heads is bad. They're really good producers and they're really concerned about making days. And that is the best thing that they could do. It's the best. Those two, Sean and Susanna, were making sure that we got what we needed when we needed it. And sometimes if I was being a little indulgent with takes and stuff, they would tell me. And that's as close as we got to any kind of like headbutting or anything like that. And I don't think, I mean, they may disagree, but I don't think I was ever like, I don't think I ever dug my heels in, I sweet talked them into, making sure it was cool. We got another couple takes from everybody. But other than that, they were a dream.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always good to hear the other side of the story. But listen, we all want those extra takes, but staying on time. Sometimes you need someone cracking a whip on set and being like, "Hey, Jay."
Oh yeah, dude. That I always said, like, keep me honest here, because once we start, I generally don't look at my phone to see what time it is. Like once we yell action, it's like I'm just worried about the sun. At that point, I just don't want to lose light. So let's just keep shooting.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the things I noticed too with this production. You guys use a lot of daylight and natural lighting in scenes.
It looks like that.
No,
it's not. Yeah, we in some cases we did like the car stuff. We had this elaborate rig for all the driving stuff where we asked to borrow like this giant car trailer. It wasn't like a normal like U-Haul one, but it was like a big one. And we mounted the car to the trailer, and then we mounted 2 cameras to the car. and it was being pulled by this giant, like, diesel truck. And in the back of that truck, we had lights rigged up and we had an extra camera, and
Wow.
everything just fell to shit. Like the lights in the truck didn't work. So the car stuff is all natural light. But the other stuff outside, I mean, we had a big, like, I forgot what it was called now. It was basically like an LED kind of spot situation that was filling in. That was acting basically as like a key, or filling in dark spots to combat the sun and stuff like that. And it's Justin Wambach, like Justin, our guy Justin, just makes everything look right. Like it looks like, motivated sunlight and stuff like that. But it's in a lot of cases it
That's exactly what I was thinking. I felt like they were really there, in the moment, sun. That's what I was feeling. But
yeah, that
I'm
spot
hoping
had
the audience did too. It's great.
Yeah, I hope so. That light had like a motor on it to keep it cool. So, and all like the camera audio, it's just like, it's so loud. But it did a great job.
Yeah.
Forza.
It sells that natural feel.
Yeah.
And everything in this film has a natural feel. Going back to the actors, how everything feels natural, and going back to the whole idea of, this group of friends making films together. That could be a challenge in itself, though. Like, you ever have a bunch of friends that just won't stop goofing off, and then you're like, all right, now get serious. Like, and then just laughing. Like, when you're in a room with someone that you don't know that much, you're like, okay, let me give them my best.
Yeah.
They don't know I'm really, an ass.
Yeah.
Let me give them my best. So that's the one thing. Did your actors and actresses have time, like, doing rehearsals, and what was that like, if there was?
Again, because of COVID, and because, like, we started pre-production in this, like, I don't even remember, maybe like January or something, when everything was like shut down. And so we had time just to kind of get on Zooms and shit and talk to each other. And we had a couple of days where we kind of went through scenes. We did like a virtual table read and stuff like that. But other than that, there wasn't a lot of rehearsal time. And then when we got to set, when everything finally clicked in, 15 days isn't a long time to shoot this thing. And so we were really hustling through those days. I'll say they're pros, you know what I mean? Like, they're really good about stuff. And sometimes like, after lunch or whatever, people maybe they got a little sugar in them and they're a little giddy and stuff. And we kind of have to remind each other. But one of the greatest things is, like, when, Susie's a producer on the film, she's also our female lead. She's in front of the camera. So she's in producerial mode all the time. Like, I don't have time to dick around with these guys. Like, let's stay in this and let's do this. You know what I mean? So she was very helpful in that as well. But generally speaking, I think we always kind of stay on task. And then we joke around afterwards, like, pretty hard.
It's funny that you brought that up about doing Zoom meetings and, virtual type meetings for rehearsals. I've been speaking to filmmaker after filmmaker.
Yeah.
And, especially since COVID, like, technology has changed now where it's much easier to do rehearsals. And for me, I love the in-person stuff, but I feel like for people that are traveling and whatnot, it makes things more simplistic. What are your thoughts on doing stuff like that are more virtual, like more accessible?
I think at the end of the day, it's important to get the work in. So by any means necessary, basically. Ricky, for example, Ricky lives in Brooklyn. So it was impractical to get him to come up on weekends just to hang out and rehearse and do stuff like that. So it was a means to an end, and I think it worked. But there's nothing like being together. It's to be in the same room and to be able to hang out and chit chat and, like, shoot the shit, have a drink, whatever, get coffees, hang out for a while, and then start the work. I just feel like we lose that with Zoom. It's like, once the camera's on, once the blue light's on, you're like, all right, here we go. Now we're working.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I mean, when you're in person, there's also just a weird dynamic. Like, sometimes you need to have that touch, or that eye contact. And like this right now, like, I could stare you in the eyes and it would just be weird.
Right.
I've done the same thing, but I feel like more and more this is becoming the norm, like, where people have to do things online in order to make, things more cost effective,
and that's what was great about the festival the other night, opening night on Friday night. It was so good to be in a room full of filmmakers. It was so like you can't fake that moment of like, hey, how are you? And just kind of, it's also great to connect like this too.
Yeah.
But to be able like to be in that room, and I just think like, man, it's just great.
I totally agree. It's, you could read people too, like online and stuff like this is one thing, but you could just tell from someone's body posture and how they present to you. There's nothing like it. And I'm a socially awkward person.
Oh, I'm the worst. Are you kidding me?
And you would think like otherwise. You're like, this guy's running a film festival. He's around all these people.
Yeah.
You'll see me kind of like meandering and wandering about.
Well, you're an actor too, so you were like, you can act a part of super social animal Charles, and then that's
cool. Exactly as I'm putting on an act. I mean, I enjoy it, I love it, and that's what I think filmmaking is all about. And I think having film festivals where we can network and spread the word about our projects is the best thing we can possibly do.
Yeah.
Now, when you're looking back at your film, and we talked about it before because you edited it, and you're still looking at it with a critical eye.
Yeah.
If you can shoot this film all over again, what would you do differently, if anything at all?
Oh man, this is a question that I know I'm going to think of a better answer for later. I don't know. If I say, I think that we did everything the way we wanted to do it. I think we made the movie that we wanted to make. We made the movie I wanted to make. At the end of the day, we made the movie. And I don't think we compromised anything. Which is crazy because I'm not like a hornblower for myself ever. I'm really generally self-deprecating, but I just think that we did exactly what we set out to do. So I don't think I would change anything. I think that we would shoot this movie again. I think we'd shoot it again the same way. I would maybe build in more time.
Yeah.
But that's
I ask like I ask similar questions to some people because I love hearing the different answers, and a lot of people, they're critical on their work that they did. Yeah. But there's also those other people that are like, yeah, I just wanted to, like, for a personal set, I wanted to enjoy the moment. And
that's what I feel is the hardest thing for me. I don't know about you, but the biggest challenge for me personally is every time we go to set or start a new movie or whatever, I'll like keep like a journal, and the top of every page is always like, remember to enjoy this day. Like, because it's so rare. If you're really good at what you do and you convince people to come and play with you, then maybe once every couple years, you're going to have a couple of weeks where you feel like you're doing what you're supposed to do. And then all the rest of the time in between that is just trying to get back there. And so I try to remind myself, like, it's happening right now. Enjoy it right now, because when it goes, it's going to be away for a long time. But instead, I get bogged down with, like, how many pages do we have to shoot today? What's the sun doing? Is the weather working out? What time is blah, blah, blah getting here? What, all right, so we'll have first meal at this time, and who's responsible for that? And, let's talk about the emotional truth of performances, and let's do this, and it's like everything day to day. Oh, that light's broken. Oh, we just lost a mic, blah, 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 blah. And so you don't get to enjoy it as much as you'd like to. You know what I mean? I want to make sure I do that next time. Like, really,
it's definitely, it's definitely, I hear that thing over and over again, because there's a lot of stresses on set because we want to get it right, and we want our visions told, And
we also don't have giant crews where you've got, a gaffer pulling cable or a rigger pulling cable or whatever for your DP, and a second AC over doing this and that. So you every BTS video you watch, there's like the director is sitting next to an actor in Video Village and they're laughing and maybe drinking a coffee. Somebody's wearing a sweater or a scarf or something. It looks like so much fun. And then there's, then there's us, and we're all lugging C-stands around and sweats in our eyes, and it's just like, go, go, go. The sun is just about to go behind a mountain. It's,
like, damn,
yeah,
all this,
but
all
enjoy it. Enjoy it.
You got to enjoy it. I say it to all filmmakers out there. Remember, guys, movies, if you're making a movie, just think about it. All these people are on here to help you create your story. And, you know, as a filmmaker, how many movies are you going to really get to make?
Yeah.
And you never know how many you're going to be able to financially be able to do, or a lot of times it's just the sun aligning in the right way, people's schedules aligning perfectly to have it, because, you know, as actors, they find other gigs, they find other means of employment. You never know. So in those moments that people dedicate their time to you, it's like, it's a happy moment. You know, you just got to go for it and get it done.
I always remind people, it could be the last one. This could be the last time. So just enjoy every second of it.
It's definitely a reality, and it's not even about like death or carnage, but like people move on in life. The people I started with in filmmaking, a lot of them went to other, you know, aspects of life or whatever that may be. Life just happens. Sometimes, you know, they move and whatnot. So like when you look back on the project you did, you know, and I talked about an opening speech that I totally screwed up, but you in that moment is, you know, you'll never experience that moment again. So just, you know, enjoy it.
Yeah.
What tips would you give? You know, this is like, you're in here, you're in deep making movies, to aspiring filmmakers that are looking to make movies. They don't got the money to do it. And what would you tell them?
You don't need a lot of money. I think that's number one. And I think that's why we always, I mean, we talk about it like a lot. We made this movie for $1,800. I know that's a lot of money for like, that's like a lot of money to carry around in your pocket. In the grand scheme of things, it's like a bagel budget for a movie for one day. So it's not a lot of money. So use your available resources. You know what I mean? I think getting out there and shooting is a big deal. And I know it's been beaten to death, but I'm going to say it. Dude, when I was a kid, cameras were giant and expensive and prohibitive to own in every way. You know, I had one friend who had like a sweet camcorder. That was it. And now we all have 4K cameras in our pockets 24/7. So use it. Tell your story. It's important, man. No one's going to tell your story but you. So get out there and tell your story, and you'll get better every time. I never like anything that I do, but I can see that like I'm getting better as we move on, but that's just a byproduct of like continuing to do it. So start it and then don't stop it until you're ready to stop it. It's not going to make itself.
Awesome. You got to put the work in, people. That's great advice. You got to put the work in. I've been telling people this for a long time. I've made movies on shoestring budgets, and people are like, well, maybe they suck. Maybe they do. But guess what? Some people might like them. Some people have purchased them. And I've, you know, over time, I've seen movies that are way worse than the stuff that I've seen at festivals that make money or get accolades. So it's subjective. Art is subjective. You're not going to appease everybody. So go forth and, you know, do it.
The first three words that you just spoke were "I make movies," and I think that's it, right? It's like, that's it. That's all you made. You made movies. You make movies. So just make them. Spend time in pre-pro and spend time and effort in sound. Those are you know, have a super talented cast and an incredible director of photography, and just get it done.
Absolutely. So like when you're looking at this film, and what do you hope audiences will get out of Break Glass?
I hope that one person somewhere finds it to be a relatable story. I love the idea of like connecting with human beings and having somebody like see something on screen that maybe reminds them of like themselves or a friend or whatever. And they think it's like an honest look at a relationship. I guess that's it. That's all I want. I just want to feel like we connected with somebody somewhere.
Yeah, it has that feel throughout. I mean, the brother dynamic in this film is really great. I mean, the opening sequence of the film it's strange because you're following, not strange in a bad way, but strange in a way that you're almost feeling like the lead isn't the lead from the way it's situated, and like you're seeing the lead underneath the covers, and it's like,
yeah,
just the dynamic there between the two brothers is really good. It almost feels like you had some personal thing when you wrote that. Do you have your own brothers, or is anything that?
I don't have a
No.
brother. No
Wow.
brother.
Wow.
Nope.
So creators, man, made me believe you did.
Cool.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Sweet.
it's the way it is. But it had that natural feel throughout, and I really, really hope for this film that it has a great run, just like Middletown did, and it's got a long shelf life ahead of it. So what's next?
What's next? Isn't that the best? Like, you work on something forever and it's hard, and then they're like, well, all right, great, cool. That was cool. What are we doing now? That is our lives. What's next? I am finishing up what I hope to be like this shooting. Well, the draft I'm going to give out to us, to all of like our cast and crew, to go back to work, hopefully in a couple of months, on another feature that I hope to make for nearly nothing.
You know what? That's an amazing thing. But I am sure right now, even what's next for this film is really important, because a lot of filmmakers, like, I hear it all the time. You talked about it before this with my own project. Like, what are you going to do with it? I'm like, we get so stuck in months, years of one film, and we have so many other stories we want to tell.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that film gets the best, viewership, that we get it out there. So like, we try to submit it to film festivals. We try to get it online. We try to, push it as much as we can. So as far as Break Glass is concerned, what are you planning to do with Break Glass?
Distribution is next. We've had a couple of conversations with a couple of different places for distribution. We are talking to a sales rep right now who it looks like we're going to be getting involved with in the next, hopefully next couple of days, couple of weeks. And then we'll start that kind of process of trying to find distribution that we love,
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for this time. What I'm going to urge the audience to do, if you like Break Glass, okay, and you think this was, you were laughing your ass off, you were emotional from time to time. I mean, there is some moments, man. Susanna Bourne, man.
Susanna Bourne,
man.
You
did it. You did it again. Why? Why are you doing this to me?
I love it.
Did a great job in the film. But if you guys like this film, remember to go out and vote. The polls are on our website, CatskillInternationalFilmFestival.com. They're shared all over the place. You can share the polls yourself. You don't have to tell. Like, I hear a lot of people saying, go to the website. You can. But as a filmmaker or as a friend or a supporter of the group, you can literally share that poll to your group list so that they can also vote. So I hope to see you on closing night, Catskill International Film Festival, October 27th. This is when everything comes to a conclusion. But thank you so much.
Oh, Charles, Anthony, guys, the whole team, thank you so much for your continued support with our little projects and for taking the time to talk. And you know what this means to all of us filmmakers. It's great. Thank you.
Absolutely. And everyone else, the meet and greet is next. So
cool.
We'll see you there.
See you there.